we've got our master properties ready to animate. What I'm going to do now is go back into here and select my controller. If I double hit the E key on the keyboard, it'll bring up the position animation that I've got in there already. You'll see I've just got a very slight bounce up and down. We'll have a look at the expression that created this a little bit later. But what I want to do is have a look at the graph, and I've switched on the post expression graph button here. And when I switch on the graph editor, you can see a representation of that up and down movement here, where the green line is. What I'm going to do is do a little cheat. I'm going to create a new null object. I'm going to call it markers. And I'm going to use this to create markers that will relate to these peaks and troughs. And I can then take them into my other composition and line up the animation with these peaks and troughs. So hit Control asterisk to add a marker, or you can go to Layer, Markers, Add Marker, and then I'm going to go to the trough, which is where the character moves up, and I'm going to add another marker. And then I'll do another couple, so I'll do an up here and then a down here. And that's enough just to indicate the timing for me. If I switch off the graph editor now, you'll see I've got this layer with markers on it. I'm going to select that and I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to go into my Brighton Seafront composition, which is where I want to do the animation of the master properties, and I'm going to paste it in. So I can now jump to those markers using J and K on the keyboard, so it's a really easy way of making sure that my animation is timed exactly with the animation that's in the nested comp. So I'm going to start by just grabbing my selection tool and keyframing the front arm, body, front leg, back leg, head and back arm. Obviously at this point you want to make sure the arms are in the correct position and the legs, so if I want to move anything I would move that arm there maybe, and maybe move that leg a little bit further forward, and possibly move the other arm a little bit as well. So just get it exactly where you want it for the first move. And then I'm going to go to a head and I'm just going to swap everything. So that arm's going to go back, that arm's going to go forwards, and then the legs are going to swap. Now this is going to be a really basic walk cycle. This is about as basic as you can make a walk cycle. And you'll notice that I haven't animated the head or the body yet. What I'm going to do is click on the Add or Remove Keyframe at Current Time button just to lock that. So it means that the head and the body shouldn't adjust. We've just got the arms and legs swapping. Now the other thing that we need to do just to make it a little bit more fluid is to have the head maybe bobbing up and down a little bit. So we'll leave the head and the body as they are there, but in the middle what I'm going to do is just rotate the body a little bit and rotate the head in the opposite direction. And that will give us a little bit more of a fluid movement. You'll see it looks like the head's now kind of bobbing up and down a little bit. And all that's left to do really from that point is to loop it. So what we're going to do is select the front arm. I'm going to add an expression to it by alt-clicking on the stopwatch. And then I'm going to go to Property, Loop Out, and we'll change the cycle to ping pong. And what that does is it will create a loop that loops backwards and forwards. You can see it's working there on the arm. And that's what a ping pong loop does. Once I've got it, I can copy it and then alt-click on the stopwatches for all of these and just paste it in. So it's very quick and easy to do that once we've got that there. And the nice thing about this is because we're using expressions, it's live, and it means that if we retime any of the animation, the loop will automatically update. So there we've got our little walk cycle. What we need to do now is get the character moving from one side of the screen to the other. And remember, I've got this character position X master property here. So I'm going to keyframe that and just move my character off screen and then move to the end, and we'll have the character move to the end. Now I also want to move the character down onto the road. I don't actually need a master property to do that. I can just go into my transform properties here, and I've still got my regular old transform properties that I can adjust. So now we've got our little character doing a very basic walk cycle along the road, using master properties and controllers as a way of rigging the character.